When you are given directions on how to get from one place to another, are those directions written out clearly with clear markers and clear transitions from one set of directions to the next, or are they jumbled and mixed up all over the place, kind of vague, and you maybe go here, then maybe go back there? Obviously, the answer is that they're written out clearly with clear steps, clearly transitioned from one step to the next. Well, to help you in your speech, we have a thing called connective phrases. A connective phrase, this will help you as a speaker to clearly make sure that you are identifying the steps taken in your speech, the main points when you are in one and when you are moving on to the next one. Connective phrases will also help your audience. They'll help your audience to know we are moving from one thing to the next, to prepare their mind and their space in their mind for that next point, to know that we're not talking about this main point anymore, we're now talking about this. Here's the deal. When you give a speech, you have one shot to make your speech as clear as possible, to make it as concrete as possible, to leave it up to the picture you have painted, not up to the interpretation they have created. And a connective phrase is one way to help you keep your audience with you the entire time. It's like those directions, that map, the directions given to get from one place to the next. Those steps are clearly defined. We know when we have left one step and we're moving on to the next. So here are a few ways you can connect your thoughts, transition from one main point to the next. First off, there's a thing called internal preview. That's when you preview what's to come. We are now moving on to the next step. We are now moving on to the next step. Easy as that. Then there's internal review. This is when you look back. We just left this last step. And usually an internal review will also have that preview in there as well. We have just left step 1. Now we're moving on to step 2, meaning we've already gone over this information. We're moving on to the next information. So that's internal preview and internal review. Another way we can do this is a phrase called signposting. Signposting is as simple as this. First, we'll talk about this. Second, we'll talk about this. Third, we'll talk about this. It's giving a first, second, third, or point A, point B, point C. If you choose to do signposting, you want to make sure you stick with whatever phrasing you've started with, whether that be first, second, third, A, B, C, or whatever you have come up with. These are a few ways we can transition our main points. Now you can get more creative. This is kind of the general step, but you can get more creative. Perhaps you're taking your audience on a storytelling journey, and your transitions would look like chapters in the story. Chapter 1, the beginning. Chapter 10, the middle. Chapter 12, the present. See? We've gone now on a narrative with our audience. You can be creative in how you transition your main thoughts, but make sure that you do. Transitioning is something we do in daily conversation. When we move on from one topic to the next, we just formally need to do it also in our speeches to make sure that our audience is going from one point to the next. It's an important thing. It will help your speech to be clear to the audience.